Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson, cash flow creator and father of the Forex fam at followmytrades.com. Here with trade theory on oil and gold today. So I want to look at what gold is doing right now in the face of what we're seeing in the markets and the economy right now, and also look at what gold is doing as it relates to the US dollar and the volatility that's happening with the dollar right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen and show you what I see in the markets and kind of take it from there. So this is Brent crude on the daily chart here. And so price established what I call a level one long, pulled back and is really kind of consolidated for several days, maybe a few weeks. And then it eventually established a level two long earlier this week, or actually in the last 5 days. And it's pulled back off of that. So it could be setting up to continue higher. But this push higher off on the second level, the level two long, was not very strong. And so that gives an indication the price may want to fall again. So what would make invalidate the upside movement? The upside movement would be invalidated if price closed on a daily below at or really below 90.608. So $90.61 is where price would actually invalidate the uptrend. And then you can look for more downside movement. Looking on the weekly chart, as far as Brent crude is concerned, what we have here is, although we have the establishment of these higher levels on the daily, on the weekly, it still has failed to establish that high of $100.81, which I've mentioned several weeks ago, and it still failed to reach that high. So this is giving indications that price is weak in oil and that it could continue back to the downside. And so we'll continue to watch that. I would not make an indication or would make any moves as it relates to buying or selling Brent crude right now because of where it's sitting, and it looks like it's really consolidating and waiting on something else to happen. Now, I look at WTI crude. It's actually in an uptrend as well. It's pulling back off of an uptrend, but after the last several weeks, it's actually failed to establish a new level higher. So it's showing weakness as well. And for this one to actually invalidate the uptrend, price would have to close at or right at below $76.31, 76.305 to be exact on the daily, which would clear room for some downside movement. Now, WTI crude is actually in a slight uptrend. It's actually officially off of a level one long, but as I continue to emphasize, the level one, which is the trend reversal of a movement, is actually the least reliable as far as sustainability. So you have to be more mindful about when you take opposite opportunities or positions after it's established a new trend. So based on that, I would still watch it because it still has not given the upside movement that you would expect in oil, given all the momentum that it's tried to create on the upside. So I would really be looking, I guess, if I was going to have to make a bet on one side or the other, I'd be looking for gold to move to the downside in the coming weeks. And actually on the monthly chart, it's actually in an uptrend on the monthly chart, pulling back off of an uptrend on the monthly as far as WTI, and then Brent crude is doing the same thing. So it's pulling back off of an uptrend. So anything's possible. Price could continue higher. There's an indication that price could do that, but not before it maybe goes lower. So I would just stand aside and not really do anything with that. Now let's look at gold. So some days back, I mentioned gold wanted to maybe make one further push down, actually specifically to the 16-15-86 level. And as you can see, this is where it happened right here. Price actually touched the 16-15-86 level, and then I said it would likely retreat and move the opposite direction, which it has over the last 5 days. It's actually moved higher and hit the target price that I mentioned, 1753.29 as a pullback point. So let's go out to the monthly and see what this looks like. Actually, this is the chart that I mentioned and kind of gave the bigger picture on when I said that. 16-15-86 was the last touch point before expecting a pullback. Looking at the magnitude of the fall that had happened over the last several months, that we were due for a pullback. Now actually price is in an uptrend on the monthly as far as gold is concerned, but the way it's looking right now, it may just be setting up to continue lower. So we'll have to watch that. And then on the weekly chart, it actually still is in a downtrend. It's pulling back off of this low here, but it has not established a high. For it to establish a high on the daily, it would have to close above 1799.87. I'm sorry, on the weekly, 1799.87. And then on the daily, it actually has established an uptrend, and it's in a level two long now. So it may push higher one more time. It may push up to this 1799.87 level. We'll have to watch it. And if it does that, then we'd have another consideration that gold wants to continue higher. But right now, it's part of a pullback and a continuation lower. And I wouldn't be surprised if gold turned around and fell again here in the coming days. So for both of those, they're at really at a crucial point. They're at a turning point. And so I wouldn't personally be looking to take a position in gold or oil. I would just watch to see what happens, given that oil looks weak and that gold looks like it could be gaining momentum to continue higher, but more than likely it may be weakening and falling lower. So just something to be mindful of. Sometimes, you know, the best move to make is no move at all. But what you need to have is actually a framework or an understanding of how the markets are moving and what the possibilities are, so that you can make a decision to actually take a position or not for building cash flow. So to learn more about this, go to fmtrades.com, click on the DIY button if you want to learn how to do this on your own, learn how to fish, if you will, and click the DFY button if you're too busy to learn, but you're definitely interested in building cash flow, where we can help you out by doing it on your behalf and still teaching you how to trade as well. So go ahead and click the button, fmtrades.com. We'll see you on the other side. If you have any questions, you know, just join our mailing list, and you can get these newsletters into your inbox and get kind of weekly market updates and stay abreast of what's going on. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy trading.